Hakeem Olajuwon is known as one of the greatest players of all time. He was known for his incredible moves out of the post and his defensive side of the ball as well. And with that being said, in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this Hakeem Olajuwon build on NBA 2K25. And with that being said, baby, let's get started. Let's go. Now for the physicals on this build, we're going to be going with the center position, height 7 foot, weight 250 pounds with a 7'5" wingspan. All right, so now starting things off with the finishing, we're going to have a 92 close shot, which gets you paint prodigy on gold. We're also going to have a 70 driving layup, which unlocks the Zion Williamson layup style, which is actually my personal favorite to use with this build. 55 driving dunk to get a couple dunk packages, which include the big man tomahawks off one. 81 standing dunk to get the big man standing contact dunks. That'll be just the pro big man standing contact dunk. And we will also get rise up on silver with this build. Now for the post control, we ended up going with a 95. This is going to get us post up poet on Hall of Fame. And if you guys haven't noticed, we have used our max +1 on post up poet to put it all the way to legend. I ended up doing a video on legend post up poet with this build, so if you want to see more gameplay of this build, that is already up on my channel. I know there will be a link to that video at the end of this one. But now let's get to the finishing highlights, and most of the finishing highlights for this build are actually coming from one game, but it's just going to allow you to see the ability of the finishing on this build, especially out of the post. Right here, we're gonna fake like we're going baseline, spin drive towards the middle. That's gonna be an easy bucket. And with that legend post up poet, you're going to be able to shed centers out of the way very easily. If I'm not mistaken, this guy had at least an 82 interior defense, and you're just seeing what we're doing to him consistently. Now he will get a couple cutoff animations here and there, but if he doesn't have 88 plus interior defense with how high he's playing, he's just going to get tossed out of the way, and it's just going to be very easy to score. Now many people see this type of play style and they say, well, it's not skilled, blah blah blah, this is this. I actually ended up putting a mixtape of like this build out on Twitter, and there were a lot of people that weren't too fond of the way that I was playing. And listen, you guys just gotta understand, I'm doing these type of videos for content purposes. This isn't like a go-to build for me, but I usually play on centers every single year. I make a post score every single year, but I'm not like playing in proving grounds or stage for VC and rep on this build. I'm just doing this for the fun of it, and I don't play like every other post score. Sure, I do drop steps, I do spins, but you will see me shoot post fades, you will see me do shimmy fades and up and unders and things of that nature. But it was just the way that this guy was playing me throughout the entire time. It was just so easy to score, so it's just like, why wouldn't I? It's just like, let's say you're playing somebody and you're on a guard, right? And they keep on giving you a wide open shot off the Levine snatchback, and you just keep shooting the wide open three off the Levine snatchback. I mean, there's nothing wrong in doing that. I mean, if that's the shot they're gonna give you, you gotta take it. If they're gonna give me my post spin drive every time, I'm gonna take it. This guy could have easily just let me shoot post fades the entire game and try and jump contest it late, and he probably would have been able to play better defense than that, but he just played so high the entire time. So I'm just like, all right, I'm just gonna spin drive right past him. Look at this right here. Shot fake, go back the other way. That's that dream shake right there, baby. That's the Hakeem special move right there. And again, people just play you super high when you get into the post, and you can just spin right out the way. But if they start playing low on you, which you will see in the shooting segment of this video, when they start playing low on you when you're in the post, that's when you can start hitting them with the post fades, the shimmy fades. You can shot create a little bit out of the post, out of your post exits, right? So you can do a post spin and go right into like a mid-range pull-up or into a step back, but we'll talk about that in the shooting segment in just a moment. All right, so now let's move on to the shooting. And for the mid-range shot, we're going to have an 85, which will get you dead eye on silver. You will also have post fade phenom on gold with this build, and you're going to have set shot specialist on silver on this build. Now the 3-point shot is only going to be a 60. And this is not the first time I've made a build with only a 63 pointer, and it's realistically, again, I've played the game a crap ton, but for me it's not too hard to hit with a 63 pointer, especially since I have set shot specialist on silver, and there's the opportunity I can max +1 into gold and have gold set shot specialist. I really don't think it's too hard to shoot with a 63 pointer, but this is where I gotta put this warning in the video for the people that might comment it down below. Listen, you don't have to make this build, okay? This is a very specific NBA player type of build. This is not a meta build. This is not going to be the most broken build in the game, okay? This is built in a very specific way where I have to make some compromises here and there in order to make the build make sense. And this build's only going to have a 63 pointer because Hakeem Olajuwon was not known for shooting threes, but he could hit them from time to time. And me, listen, I always love making centers that can still shoot the 3-ball, okay? You'll never catch me on an inside center unless if it is a pure inside, okay? If I'm going to put mid-range on my build, I'm also putting three-pointer. That's just how it's going to work. Now, big point here as we're going through all of the shooting clips that I do want to point out, and you guys have probably noticed it throughout all of my videos already, I am using right stick rhythm shooting for everything. I'm rhythm shooting post fades. I'm rhythm shooting my catch and shoot threes. I'm rhythm shooting my dribble pull-ups. There's actually a dribble pull-up that is really good for that type of thing, and we'll talk about that in like an animations video later on. Yes, I highly recommend that you use right stick rhythm shooting for everything that you can, because it is just so much easier to shoot once you get in the lab and get the timing down. All right, so now moving on to the playmaking. This is going to be the quickest section of the video. 65 pass accuracy for bronze break starter, 50 ball handle simply because that's where it gets pulled up to because of the post control, and then a 40 speed with ball for normal dribble style, which is actually pretty nice in this year's game. 65 pass accuracy, let's be blunt, it's not amazing, okay? Passing in this game is pretty rough as is, so you have to be pretty safe with the 65 pass accuracy, but the breaks actually weren't that terrible with this build when I was throwing breaks with the 65 pass accuracy. But again, this is a Hakeem Olajuwon build. This is not a meta center build. If you do not want to make this build, you do not have to, but I was trying to make it in a very specific way so it resembled Hakeem Olajuwon. But now for the playmaking highlights, and there's not going to be a whole lot of them. Obviously, again, 65 pass accuracy is not going to be the greatest. It can get the job done, but if you're trying to make some tight window passes, you got to be really careful with a 65 pass accuracy. With the low pass accuracy, you could kind of argue that this build is probably better for like 2s or 1s, and in 5v5 modes where you have to throw the breaks in these like super large courts, it's not the greatest. But again, if you want to put higher pass accuracy, you can finesse the build however you want and make that work. Right here, kick it out to the corner, wide open, catch and shoot, and he's going to knock that down pretty easily. All right, so now let's talk about the defense on this build. 82 interior defense for silver post move lockdown, 47 perimeter defense, just so we can have a little bit of perimeter defense on this build. Fellas, with how this game is, there are not a whole lot of centers that can shoot really well, okay? So you're not going to really have to guard the perimeter super crazy, and so yeah, I don't think you need super high perimeter build. Like, I don't think you need super high perimeter defense on all of your center builds, simply because it is rare that you go up against a center that is really, really good at shooting the ball. 60 steal for bronze interceptor, I think that's necessary on every build that you make. If you don't make a build that doesn't have bronze interceptor, you're kind of selling yourself short with how good passing lane steals are. 84 block for silver paint patroller, and this is probably the one thing that people are going to see and have a problem with it on the build, and I totally think that's okay. I totally think that's fine, because Hakeem Olajuwon is the all-time leader in block, so he should probably have at least a 93 block, if not higher. But I just couldn't finesse that on the build, you know. I like making offensive type of builds. I like being able to have the 95 post control on this build, because Hakeem was known for how dominant he was in the post. But if you want to make some adjustments to this build, you absolutely can to try and get that 88 or 93 block on the build. Rebounding wise, we're going to have a 96 defensive rebound for Hall of Fame rebound chaser. Again, that is something you can adjust. If you have cap breakers, you could drop it down to 94, then just boost it up to 99 with the cap breakers. I ended up going 96 because I wanted the Hall of Fame rebound chaser off the rip. So now for the physical, 69 speed, 56 agility, 95 strength, which is really good. That's going to get us a lot of our post scoring badges, post up powerhouse on high level, and then a 65 vertical. So now with the first set of cap breakers that you do get on this build, and this is why I also put the 96 D board, because I'm not going to be able to put my cap breakers into rebounding until I get the second set of cap breakers. But for your first set of cap breakers, what I would do is put 4 into post control to get it to 99 and put it 1 into strength. You can have legend post up poet, legend post powerhouse on this build all at the same time on this Hakeem Olajuwon build. And I would use the second set of cap breakers for rebounding, and then that final set of cap breakers I don't think most people are going to be able to get anyways. So I don't really think about that when I'm making these type of builds. So now this build is complete. We are going to come out of the by player builder and actually get shades of Hakeem Olajuwon, Jusuf Nurkic, and Jonas Valanciunas. I think it's actually really cool that this gets shades of Hakeem. And then we are going to get the build name two-way inside the arc threat, which I think is kind of fitting because that's pretty much what this build is. And with that being said, man, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you do like this Hakeem Olajuwon video, I highly recommend that you watch this video where we were using this Hakeem build with legend post up poet.